And I ain't gonna lie, when I was a kid, that chicken noodle soup used to hit. Campbell's soup. Campbell's soup was kind of a staple. The tomato soup used to be hitting and the chicken soup, right? I don't know if it was real chicken, but I don't want to think about that. It was good. A Campbell's employee who was fired after he leaked some audio by another executive talking about how bad their soup was and all of that.
Campbell's.
Good.
This morning, Campbell's Soup is denying claims about its products, allegedly made by an executive in a recorded conversation. The person in the recording is also heard belittling Campbell's customers during an expletive-filled rant.
We have that's for poor people. Who buys our I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's unhealthy. Now that I know what the in it, I can eat bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a
You never know when that audio is recording. You know, when people don't know they're being recorded, that's when the truth always comes out. So this executive, he's talking to another person saying, I don't buy our products anymore. It's unhealthy now that I know what's in that. You can eat bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat chicken that came from a 3D printer. So if you buy a Campbell's soup, this is what they think about. Maybe not the whole company, but that's what this executive thinks about it. And he says earlier that we make this product of this soup for poor people, right? I don't eat that crap. This is what he said. This has caused a big quote unquote firestorm in the company because obviously you don't want to be insulting the people who buy the soup. Now, listen, let's keep it real. Campbell's was part of my childhood. I did like the chicken soup, but you know, along came companies like Progressive. They had better soup. The chicken looked more like chicken. The noodles were a little bit more robust. And maybe it had a little bit of soup, a little bit less salt, because God knows Campbell's soup probably had enough salt in there to cause you to have high blood pressure as a kid. Nonetheless, they've been going in trying to clean up this conversation. And the thing about it is that Campbell's soup is not healthy. I think that our parents, when they bought it for us back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they knew that Campbell's soup, it's not a soup that's supposed to be healthy for you, right? It's just a canned soup. Most canned soup ain't good for you, right? So I don't think this is really a big deal, but it is interesting to see what the actual employees who are selling this stuff, the executives, what they think about their product.
The recording is allegedly from a conversation that's now part of a lawsuit filed by Robert Garza, a cybersecurity analyst for Campbell's, who claims he was fired after reporting the alleged remarks, which he says also included racist comments about company employees. Garza claims Campbell executive Martin Bally made those comments after the two met to discuss Garza's salary. In a statement, Garza's attorney saying, "This situation has been very hard on Robert. He thought Campbell's would be thankful that he reported Martin's behavior, but instead, he was abruptly fired." Campbell's responding, saying, "If the comments were in fact made, they are unacceptable. They do not reflect our values and the culture of our company." And going on to say, "The comments heard on the recording about our food are not only inaccurate, they are patently absurd."
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell's soup.
Campbell saying, "The chicken meat used in our soups comes from long-trusted, USDA-approved U.S. suppliers and meets our high-quality standards."
You ain't got to defend the meat that's in the chicken soup. We all know it's some reckless dark meat that's in the chicken noodle soup. But listen, I would probably crack open the can and eat it to this day. But I think the guy, Garza, the guy who is filing the lawsuit, I think he met with another executive, maybe his boss or someone who above him, to discuss his salary. This boss he's meeting with is talking crazy, talking reckless, making racial comments, talking about the soup. And, you know, be honest with you, don't be surprised. A lot of these executives who are working for these large companies like this, they don't eat the stuff that they sell. And who would be surprised? Like if you were a high up executive making, let's say, $1 million a year or whatever it is, you're not eating Campbell's soup. Let's keep it funky. But, it's important to kind of point out stuff like this because, it reflects how people feel about their customers. And if you have an executive who looks at the customers like they're peasants, then, it can sometimes reflect the ingredients that are in the soup.
And the company noting, Bally worked in IT and had nothing to do with food production. Right. Bally is on leave, pending a company investigation. In the meantime, the Attorney General in Florida, a state that bans lab-grown meat, says his office is now investigating Campbell's products.
Bro, come on now. You guys are not going to tell me now. You're just now wondering whether the meat in the chicken soup is chicken. It's not even a lot of chicken in there. It looks like some scrap meat that they throw in there, but it's in that salty goodness of broth in there with the noodles, and it's good. You know what I'm saying? But I don't need it now. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, it was good. So here's the thing. I think, the guy, he worked in IT. He's basically mad. And listen, he went in there with a recorder. And, what made me think about this story, I said, well, the IT worker that met with his boss, I'm wondering, did he plan to record the conversation just in case he didn't like what his raise was going to be or whatever it was? So I think he met with his boss. He got some audio and he's like, listen, if my salary ain't what I think it's going to be and I'm not happy about this situation, I got some backup audio with my boss talking crazy about customers, talking crazy, making racial comments about workers who work there. And that's his insurance. So I think he's going to end up suing Campbell's. We'll see. I don't really know if he has a real case, but if anything, he's definitely embarrassed the company. I don't think it's going to change anything for Campbell's. People who are buying the soup, they know good and well it ain't healthy. Yeah, it's cheap soup. We all know that. There's nothing new about it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Crucial Convo.